concerned that it be carefully controlled by only those who need to be involved and by no one else. He went on to talk about when the JCS regulated the chopping of the tree in the Korean DMZ, which was being used for observation purposes by the North Koreans, and the controls that had been placed on General Dick Stilwell. He spoke against the large number of both military and civilian people who had access to the JCS control center during that earlier crisis. He hoped it would be different this time. His admonition hit home. It was apparent General Jones, too, was anxious about this management problem. The briefing adjourned around 3:30 p.m. Because things seemed to be heating up some, I wanted to get back to Bragg to look into some last-minute details. General Vaught thought I should hang around a while, but wouldn't tell me why. Something was up. General Gast, while we walked down to the Special Ops Division of the JCS, enlightened me. "We want you to stay in Washington, because we're going to go over tonight to the White House and brief the President and the National Security Council." I nearly fell over. The meeting I'd just left had been certainly a rehearsal for showtime that evening with President Carter and his foreign policy advisors. During the next 3 hours, I drank a lot of coffee with some of the guys in the ops office. I worried whether what I was wearing, a sport coat and tie, was right. Maybe I should be wearing a three-piece suit. In one of the offices, I ran into Buckshot, who was in the Pentagon on another matter. I confided in him where I was going in a few hours. He became as excited as I. He was wearing his SAS regimental tie, and he gave it to me to wear that evening. I wanted it for good luck. At 6:30, General Vaught, General Gast, and I, all in civilian clothes, were driven to General Jones's residence in Fort Myer, Virginia. The general wore a smart-looking Harris tweed sport jacket, gray slacks, and tie. I figured my dress was appropriate. We climbed back into the car and were taken to the White House. During the drive, all jammed together, there was little talk, but there was a tangible sense of purpose. We would never be more prepared. The Secret Service uniformed officer was shown some identification and waved us through the gate. I'd never been on the grounds of the White House before. We were led through the corridors and up and down the staircases that led to the Situation Room. I tried to memorize everything in sight. I was a long way from my pea patch. The room is small, maybe 15 by 20 feet, and windowless. Comfortable office chairs were placed around a central conference table. Another row of chairs was situated in front of the paneled wood walls. There were some people waiting for us. Among them, Jody Powell impressed me by the way he talked and asked questions. As for the Chief of Staff of the White House, I expected he'd have a little age on him, but Hamilton Jordan looked awfully young. He wore Levi's. I was introduced to the agency's man and to Warren Christopher, the Deputy Secretary of State. Cyrus Vance was talking to someone in the corner. Dr. Brown came in right behind us and had with him his Deputy Secretary of Defense, Mr. Claytor. Dr. Brzezinski appeared suddenly, and finally Vice President Mondale arrived, wearing a sweatsuit and fancy sneakers, which did not impress me. I found a seat behind and between Dr. Brzezinski and the Vice President. The President, in a blue blazer and gray slacks, walked into the room. Everyone jumped to attention. "Good evening, Mr. President." He looked good. General Jones took the lead. After quickly introducing his party to the President's group, he stated that we were there to explain the rescue mission plan and to answer questions. With that, he nodded.